for years now. And before starting the presentation, what I would like to do is to share a bit of my background, because I think it's relevant for this presentation. So before working for Odoo, I used to work for a partner for 2 years, and it brings me to tell you today that actually I know that we pursue the same objectives, which is giving our best every day to increase the amount of happy Odoo customers. And my message today would be to say, let's do it together. So before starting the presentation, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to post them on the chat, and I'll answer them at the end of the presentation. So as I said, we are in the same situation. We do the exact same job. And I know that our story hasn't been all the time that smooth. But what I want you to understand is we are there to serve you. So the reason why we are there to serve you is because actually when we created the Odoo Service department, we did it to at some point be able to reach that moment where we would lead by example. That meant actually understanding this job, working hard, improving the way we work, to at some point be able to actually giving you the information, spreading around our experience in this job. And actually Fabian every year comes to me at some point saying, okay, now this is time to do it faster, better, to be more efficient. But we are not in the exact same situation. Let me explain you why. First, in terms of knowledge. We have a much better access to knowledge than you do, just because we can just decide to go and see, go and ask to a developer, okay, why did you decide to develop this functionality this way? We can go to see a product owner to actually ask, okay, how does it work? Why don't we have that functionality in the system? What is the strategy for this app? So we have a much better view on the product, and it brought us actually to better understand what we are implementing every single day. Another advantage we have is implementation service is not our core business. So the only objective for us is to be break-even. We are not a source of revenue for this company. And it gave us actually two really cool advantages. The first one is we could go through this trial and error path we went through these last few years. I'll come back to that later. And we actually had the opportunity to raise a real army of consultants to face all the daily challenges we have and to actually be able to work with you. So my message today is also, you don't need to suffer like we did. The purpose here is to tell you, we are there to back you up, and we don't want you to fall in the same traps, and we want to spread around our experience, so use us for that as well. So let's go back a bit in the past now so that you understand better what I'm talking about. So this graph shows you the evolution of the recruitment in the consulting team through the time, and I chose that matrix out of a lot of others possible, just because I really think that it shows our level of confidence in our approach. So you can see in this first phase, our recruitment is really shy. So we are not really confident, and I called it the messy times, because at that moment, that was the time of the unlimited services. This is not our best memory. But that was the time as well where the methodology was only something like, okay, let's implement it as fast as possible, as cheap as possible, no matter how. And obviously, every single consultant did it on his own way. That was the time as well where the churn rate was completely out of control. So completely, it depended concretely on the consultant much more than on the approach. That was a messy time, but that was a huge opportunity for us to learn from our mistakes. You know that this is part of our culture, to go through trial and errors constantly. And that period was really rich for us to learn and to grow by the time. During this period, we were 100% focused on the SMEs project. So it doesn't mean that we didn't do anything else. It just means that we did larger projects, but by opportunity, and we sometimes jumped on missions with partners, but just on demand. There was no actual strategy to give you support. The second period, the previous one, is, I would call it the industrialization period. So that's the moment we decided to actually use all the lessons learned from the past to actually build a strong approach. So you can see that in terms of recruitment, we are much more confident. Depending on the offices, we kind of double the team every year. That's the moment we created the Odoo implementation methodology and its tools. That's also the moment we reached that its historic level of 3% of churn for all the projects that went through our implementation services. So during that period, we stabilized the way we implemented projects, and but we also started producing a few things in terms of knowledge and a few content to share. In terms of focus, even if the SMEs project remained our main focus, we started working seriously on a larger account approach. And through the partner packs, we started working with you punctually on punctual questions or on punctual issues you would face on your project. And now, the period in which we are for the moment, we started that like a year ago. So there is no doubt anymore on the recruitment. We feel really confident. We know that what we do works, and we can see it every day in our project. And that's the moment we decided to publish the Odoo implementation methodology. We did it during the last edition of the Odoo Experience. This is the time where, about the Odoo implementation methodology, actually, we published it, but we kept feeding it as well, modifying it, bringing other content like ROI analysis, the pre-sales tools, and but this is not done. So we are still working on new content to share about Odoo implementation methodology. For example, the change management strategy is going to come soon. New tools related to large project implementation are going to come soon as well in the content we're going to share with you. During this period as well, a year ago as well, we decided to create the expertise. So expertise is a really, really cool tool for an implementation service, because aside from jumping from a mission to another for the experts, from a direct project to a mission with a partner, which is really interesting with expertise is they produce a lot of content. A lot of content like advanced videos about the product, like new tools to ease the implementation on certain apps, like videos about the release notes to make it easier to understand, to actually better understand where we go with this product. And all of those contents are something we really would like to share with you. So in this phase, a year ago, we started actually spreading our experience and our knowledge around. But this is a work in progress. So now the focus is a bit different, but kind of still the same. So in the center for us, expertise is the key, because it's something really transversal. We can use it in direct project, and on indirect project with you guys, on your project with your customers. The SMEs projects are still a focus for us as well, of course, because this is the well-oiled machine for us. So just to give you an example, this year, only with the Belgian office, we started 100 projects per month with a team of 75 people, something like that. We put the focus as well on large accounts. So we created the MMC team in sales to sell projects to larger accounts. And the reason why we did that is because now it's time for us to show to the market that Odoo is a product made both for the small companies, but also for the largest companies. This is a product actually that fits with any kind of company. And last year as well, we launched the Odoo service for partners, which changed a bit the way we work together. So we used to work in a Q&A approach. It's still possible to do that, but we really promote the fact that we can work together with you on dedicated and predefined mission to actually bring more experience and more knowledge and make sure actually that you learn something. And that actually the mission is perfectly delivered as well. So those kind of mission, after a year, I could say that we gave advanced training on certain apps. We gave you assistance on pre-sales processes. We helped you in managing your first project if you just onboarded this last year. We did a lot of different missions, expertise as well, and other less expected missions like helping you on your recruitment or monitoring your project, doing pipe reviews with you just to see if your approach is as efficient as possible. And that was pretty much what we've done for the partners. So what I want you to remember from that talk is we back you up. And we back you up. The first proof of that is, for example, structurally, in the Belgian team, we have 5 managers today. And out of those 5 managers, 2 of them wake up every morning thinking about what can I do to make the services for partner better than yesterday. And this is the time and the energy we want to invest in helping the partner network to be successful. Another service, a service actually we use to back you up is the Odoo service for partners we created last year. I already talked about it, but just for your information, when we launched it, we didn't structure it really a lot, just because we wanted to see how you would react by receiving that kind of offer. And actually that was really interesting, and we can learn from this first year today, and we know that we're going to work in priority right now on 2 main aspects. The first one is improve the sales qualification so that we can actually jump faster on your mission and know exactly what you expect from us and how we can work together. The other thing we would like to improve here is the assignation logic. So we saw that was not optimal, that could be better. And the thing is, the assignation is really the key in this service, because we have a double objective when we work with you. The first one is complete perfectly the mission we are supposed to do with you. The second one is make sure that actually by working together you learn something, and you will be tomorrow more independent than before having done this mission. So what you have to remember is the fact that involve us as often as possible, because what we are doing together is to crack this market together. Something we really need to work on, and that will be the very first priority in 2021, is to share better the information with you and to train you better. So on one side, what we're going to do is to work on the partner knowledge base to improve the existing content work on it, make sure that it's clearer, it's up to date, and you have the right information. But secondly, we're going to produce new contents. I already talked about what the experts are producing for the moment, but we're going to work to give you as much information, as much knowledge, and to share as much experience as possible so that you can benefit from our experience and avoid to fall in all of those traps. Another thing really important related to training and another priority in 2021 would be to onboard a bit more on your onboarding as new partner. So the point here will be to work together with the account managers team in the channel team to make sure that you receive the right support during your very first step as an Odoo partner, and the involvement of the consultant is going to be more important as well, and that's going to come within the next few months. So to summarize a bit, what's the plan right now? I would say that the first thing to remember is what we want to do is to strengthen our role on the field with you to have better, to succeed better in your missions. And the other priority will be to improve the way we share knowledge with you, and we actually make you know what you can't know without talking to us. So once again, the point here is to tell you, you don't need to suffer like we did. You don't need to fall in the same traps. And I go further, benefit from our privileges, actually. Just benefit from this experience, because we have access to this information. We can share this information with you. And our goal is actually to make you successful. So thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoy this online edition of the Odoo Experience. If you have any question, concerns, or suggestion, please join me during the Q&A session.
Hi, I'm Antoine, and I'm going to give you a short summary of the presentation by Catherine about Odoo Services and Partners Network. Now, this is a nice name, but what does that actually mean? What's the whole point of the Odoo Services and Partners Network? Well, actually, the whole point is to make together Odoo's customers happy, okay? And not just only customers, but also you partners. So the purpose of the whole thing, of the whole concept, is to make sure that as partners, you are having a great partners experience. And let's face it, Catherine was explaining that it has not always been easy in the past to be a partner for Odoo, okay? And she knows what she's talking about because she has been a partner herself. But to understand this, we need to go back in time and see a little bit the history of the whole thing. So in the early period, a long time ago, from 2013 to 2015, let's call it messy times, okay? At that point, there was, there were no consistency, not hardly any documentation. Everyone was trying to find out by themselves what they should be doing. There were no guidelines, so it was really messy. You can see this in terms of number of consultants hired during that period, that early period. There weren't that many consultants hired, okay? Well, you could see that the number of consultants hired is an indicator of the trust that Odoo has in its own products and in own systems. But at that point, Odoo was careful. They knew that things were not optimal, and obviously you knew it as well as partners. But then things started to get much better, and that was in the next period of better times, from approximately 2016 to 2018 somehow, and things started to improve. Documentation, consistency, procedures, processes, it all started to get better, okay? And also your experience as partners has also improved. But still, and you could see, by the way, that the number of consultants hired during that period also increased. But still, this is nothing compared to today, where we have since a few months, maybe 2 years or so, started a new period. We could call it the amazing times. And now the amount of progress that has been achieved in terms of strategy, in terms of methodology, in terms of content, expertise, support and assistance, and basically trust and self-trust is just dramatically increased. Therefore, today the sky is the limit. And you can see that the number of consultants that have been hired has been increasing dramatically as well. Okay, so we hope that you are feeling the same experience, that things have been improving dramatically. Anyway, what does that mean in practice? That the Odoo is bringing you a lot of content, onboarding experience for new partners, support and assistance, and so that you as a busy partners facing complex problems, you actually feel the support and you feel the assistance of and the presence of Odoo all the time. And remember, this is important. Odoo is not doing this for profit, but just, if they break even, they're most happy with it. So in 2 words, what you need to remember is, partners, we back you up. Now time for the question time. Thank you and ciao.
Welcome everyone at this live Q&A session about services for partners. First of all, thank you very much, Antoine, for this great cartoon. I definitely recognized Catherine in there. And that's exactly what we will discuss right now, because thank you very much, Catherine, for your presentation. We will start now your live questions that you can still add in the chat. We already had some, so I will start first of all with the first question. I think it interests everybody. We were wondering, Catherine, how can a partner get basically the most out of his service pack?
But actually, I would say that the first thing to do would be to train yourself and to get like the most important product knowledge. So based on that, and by going through the e-learning we already proposed, and as I said during the presentation, what we're going to do as well is to improve the e-learning by bringing advanced contents, of course, but we're going to review completely the partner knowledge base as well. So the thing is, by going through all of this, and after that, getting services from us, we're going to start a bit further in the process, so we don't have to jump on question you could have answered by having gone through the e-learning and the partner knowledge base.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Next question. I think we had an interesting question from Abdul Monem. Basically, it's a little bit linked to the answer that you already gave, but they just started as a learning partner and they would like to know what is your advice for them and to benefit as most as possible from the partner network and grow as a partner.
But I would say, once again, as I said, train yourself, go through, apply the Odoo implementation methodology, go to a simple project before going for the biggest project. I would say that apply exactly the same approach as what we did in the past. So going with growing with your project as you grow as a partner. I would say that will give you the opportunity to improve actually and to grow in terms of knowledge, in terms of experience. And by the way, within the very first project, we have really skilled consultants that could give you support to teach you how we do it internally and to help you to be as efficient and as successful as possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that the next question of Alfonso is also a little bit related with that, but also with, I think, related with how we implement our own projects in Direct. Because his question is all about what are your recommendations when you implement several modules, but on a remote way?
The thing is, on a remote way or on site, it's pretty much the same, but because I would say that being on site doesn't change at all the fact that we apply this approach. But I would say on a remote way, the very good way to do it is to apply what we suggest in the Odoo implementation methodology, which is actually going step by step. So split your implementation in a few different phases, starting with the most logical for your customer, and go through a few go live so that you can manage the change actually better as well. I would say, yeah, this is for me the best way to proceed. But being on remote sometimes make our life a bit harder because we can't build a strong relationship as strong as if we were on site. But at the same time, I would say that being on remote as well gives you a lot of time to actually work out of your meetings and on different projects at the same time. So for example, us, for the Quickstart project, we have like on average 10 projects at a time. So I would say, yeah, working on remote gives you more responsibilities, but at the same time as well, more space to organize your time and to actually set up your priorities better.
And you don't lose all the time on the travel side.
Sure, and every single minute is actually like valuable. No?
I have another one here, and basically it's an interesting one because they're asking, basically with these services for partners, well, what is then the difference between their account manager and the services for the partners?
But actually, we don't have the same job, and this is exactly the same as exactly the same in our direct activity. So the thing is that your account manager is there to help you in your sales process, pre-sales process actually, to prepare your demo, to help you actually to sell your project, to get leads, to make those leads opportunities, and then projects sold. What we're going to do is exactly what we do with our direct sales team, is actually jump on pre-sales missions with them to help them building the demo, but also actually support the partners in their more complex pre-sales process, just like say gap analysis or ROI analysis. Now we call it like that. And going further in the implementation. So we're going to support with the Odoo service for partners, our partners in all the different missions in all different steps of the project. So that could be expertise, that could be a complete support throughout the implementation or any other mission actually. So we're not sales. This is not our job. We're consultant. We're expert in the product, and this is what we are doing with the partners, just like what we do for our direct customers.
Yeah. I think the expert part in that is also very important because we have a lot of consultants that already have that experience, maybe from other jobs, that know the business and that can add that layer of experience in the project. And it can be as well for pre-sales, but also for the project.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, I think our time is up for the Q&A session. There are maybe other questions, but I think most of them are covered. So thank you very much, Catherine, for this Q&A. And I hope you all enjoy Odoo experience and see you later.
Yeah, thank you very much.